So this video is going to be from the transition to the middle ground area to what we see as the foreground area. I won't be completing the foreground area. I'm still working on more of the middle ground area, but hopefully this will help you to break up some of your colors and to tie things together a little bit. So what we're going to be working on, and this is generally a cool area, and what I want the appearance of this to look like is that it's a little bit more pushed back than this space in the, I guess, the cloud area, as you call it. So what I am going to do is I did add, some blue undertones and that sort of thing for my base color. I also added some gray right here. You can see that. I'm going to try to tie what happened here with my pinkish purpley color to what's going on here. So I'm just going to embrace that there's purple here, but it won't be, as heavy as, say, the purple that's back there. Try to push this thing up a little bit. So I'm adding that pink. It's that whatever that lighter pink is in your pack, and when it mixes with the blue, I mean, it's going to look purpley. And what I'll do just in the little corner areas, I'm going to try to cool it down just a hair, not much. You could either do that with more blue if you wanted to do that. You could do it with, I've got kind of a, I think this is the darkest color. Yeah, this is the darkest purple in your pack. I'm just really just focusing on those edges. I don't feel like I need too much going on right there. And I'll go back and add just a little bit more of that pink. I'm trying to keep it light in the middle as much as I can. I would say, pretty much everything you do, try to leave a little bit of white in your middle. Now, if you wanted to break this up from this, you could choose to add a little bit of a warm tone. So what I'm going to try to do, because I have like some warm tones here and I'm going to have warm tones here, I'm going to just add a little bit of yellow, because there may be a little bit of a reflection of those things. So this is kind of a minimal thing, but it definitely will warm it up. And just add a little bit more to it. I mean, you don't want your colors to end up looking muddy, but, at the same time, you want them to be varied and have a little bit more depth. If you're wanting to warm it up even more, you could add just a little bit of orange, as you go to the light area, but it's up to you guys how y'all want to do it. And if it has not gotten as bold as you want it to be, you can always go and I'm literally now, I'm taking my hot pink or whatever this is, and I'm literally just making hatching kind of line. So I would say, at the very end, if you realize that you need to get a little bit heavier in some spots to just make things pop and stand out a little bit more, that could be one of the things that you do. I'm just doing it in more of the dark areas and kind of around the lines, the outside edge of that. I think that definitely does help. So one thing I want to show you guys, and this is in the foreground area, so we've kind of gone from here. What I want to try to do is tie this in with these right here and this too. So I'm gonna work here, and then we'll see how much time we have left on this. I'll see if I can address this on this particular film. So anyway, so what I have here, I've got just a yellow base tone here. One of the reasons why I added a little bit of orange right here is because this little area is going to be more of a yellowy orangey tone, although I added some blues. You can see the blues in the dark area. I added blue, and I added a little bit of gray in addition to that yellow base tone that I'd added in the first little stage of the assignment. So it kind of makes sense that you would have a little bit of that here. The advantage I have at this point is I have the foresight to know what needs to go there, because I've already, done this little stage before. You can leave white there. Just know there's going to be more white as you go to your foreground area. This is kind of middle foreground. It's the right behind your shoes area, so we're definitely transitioning there. So if you look at it, and I would look at it from a distance and ask yourself, is there a good transition between the yellow and the orange? If there's not, if you need to just blend it, just add a little bit more yellow to what you already have with your base tone. So at this point, if you're wanting it to be like a brighter yellow, or if you're wanting it to be a brighter orange, you could go back in and add. I'm just kind of like going like that instead of dotting it. I'm just more adding warmer tones to it. And you can kind of lightly, I'm not necessarily going like this, but I'm more doing in between dots, and I guess it's more of a mark, like a slash or a I don't know, it's not really hatching that I'm doing. I'm just trying to build up my orange right here in that little spot. Now, what I did do, and I'm seeing this now, what I did was I did introduce just a little bit of that pink that I had added like right here in this little section. I did pull a little bit of that, not much, into that orange, just so it makes sense, that they're right up next to each other. Okay, oh, we got a little bit of time. Okay, so the transition between this and this, I mean, this is definitely more in the foreground, but as you can kind of see it, I'll show you this here. It still remains rather light, and you can see a lot of white right there, but it starts getting a little bit, and actually a lot bit, cooler as you go to the very edge of this thing. And so, like I said, just remember those things as you go, although you did a base tone that that shows that you definitely is going to be more of a warm tone as you go. You would introduce just to show a little bit more depth if you're trying to cool things off as you go towards the very back part. I would pull in maybe some blues and maybe some purples or something to kind of tie other things together. But I wouldn't do it so much as you go up here where like the actual light source is. So I'm kind of going to try to lessen that as I go. And I'll add a little bit, let's see. We'll do a little bit of that. It's kind kind of like pinky purpley back here, but we don't want it to run into this. I'm trying to separate those things. And if you need to, say, emphasize a dark area or whatever, and make it a little bit bolder, go back with your original base tone, and by all means, like, add that there to that little spot right there. So anyway, so we're going to get into the actual foreground, besides what we did right here, and yeah, that'll be the next little video.